Hello and welcome to Bread of Life, a daily devotional program which each week features a different area pastor. Our speaker for this week is Pastor Adam Soderberg of Hartford.
Why do I get sick? Why do loved ones die from cancer or heart disease? In John chapter 9, we encounter the story of a man born blind and Jesus' miraculous healing that he says was done so the power of God could be seen in him. Jesus used the man's situation to teach about faith and to glorify God. I mentioned that, though it may seem obvious, Jesus could not have restored the man's sight if he had not been blind to begin with. The man being blind was an important part of God's plan. Each of us is an important part of God's plan as well. I suggested we think of it like we were a news reporter. We don't know where the story will lead us or what we'll find when we get there. We're just on assignment. We all want to serve God, but most of the time we want to do so from a position of comfort and prosperity, handing out our millions to care for those less fortunate. We don't stop to think that perhaps we have a different assignment. The truth is that God calls us to serve in different ways at different times in our lives and for different reasons. Maybe that's why you are in the situation you're in right now. Maybe that's why you were born blind, so that others might see the glory of God through you. Perhaps there are others who will choose not to give up because they saw with their own two eyes that you did not. It's quite possible someone may no longer simply count the days they have left, but live each one with joy and expectation because they saw you do the same. It's a tough assignment, to be sure, but we all want to glorify God. Just as Jesus used a blind man's circumstances to teach about faith and to glorify God, we must carry out the tasks assigned us by the one who sent us. I don't know whether your assignment is to be King Solomon or Martin Luther King Jr., or just a plain old Adam. What I promise you is this: God sent you on your assignment, you and no one else. And there is absolutely nothing ordinary about you. All over you are the fingerprints of God. You are a masterpiece. There has never been and will never be again anyone else just like you. You were fashioned by God's hand. You are a part of His plan. Since the first beat of your heart, the Creator of the universe breathed His life into you and gave you an assignment to fulfill. And yes, even an illness, disability, or tragedy can be used by God. The best substance abuse counselors are those who have survived that same journey. And no one is better equipped to minister to a young couple who have just lost a baby than someone who has experienced the same. As long as we live in a broken, fallen world, there will be tragedy, illness, and disability. The man in John chapter 9, Jesus says, was born blind so the power of God could be seen in him. And anything that can be used to glorify God is a blessing. God gave each of us an assignment to fulfill, and I truly believe it is something greater than you could ever imagine. If you let Him, Jesus will use you just as you are, just as He made you, so that the power of God might be seen in you. Thank you for spending time with me this week on the Bread of Life here at 104.9 WIHS. I'm Pastor Adam Soderberg of South Congregational Church, Main Street in Hartford. God bless.
You've been listening to Pastor Adam Soderberg of Hartford, our speaker for this week on Bread of Life, a program to encourage you from God's Word.